Hey KU fans, welcome back to Allen Fieldhouse and KU Sports Extra with Benton Smith. I'm Matt Tate, and guess what, Benton?
What?
Kansas is in first place in the Big 12 race.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
No,
1-0.
1-0. There may be some other teams with that exact record.
Okay, so what does that make
Tied
their
for first.
magic number?
Oh, boy. Let me do some math.
Don't.
17?
That'll work.
I don't know.
That'll work. Either way, magic or not, KU wins it tonight, 70-63 over number 23 Oklahoma. You know, coming into this game, I was actually really looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be a good battle between two really good teams playing really good basketball. The good battle part was there.
Yeah.
The good teams part probably still was there. I don't think it was good basketball, though, at all. I mean, there were times where KU had enough to put together some nice stretches and runs, especially, you know, most of that first half. But,
Right, yeah.
But overall, it was just a really heavy, laboring type of victory. And you know, we both used this quote in our story until I flexed and made you take it out. But Bill Self said it. You know, over the years, we've won a bunch of games like this, and it's not necessarily the worst thing. That's true when you come out on top. And Kansas did, 70-63 in a game that sounds pretty close. It really wasn't that close. I mean,
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
Yeah, you never really felt like OU had a chance to like come back and take the lead late.
Right.
You know, I mean, they started off hot when KU was a little bit clunky in the first few minutes, but like Self said, the last 17 minutes of that first half, pretty good basketball.
For sure.
I mean, and that's why they were up, 40-25 at halftime.
Right.
And that's why it didn't matter that it was back to some clunkiness in the second half. What Self loves winning ugly.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I think he almost like enjoys those more than like a shootout that KU wins 101-98 or something like that.
No doubt.
I
Well,
think he prefers this type of win.
That's exactly right. The reason being, their goal every night is not necessarily to play perfect basketball or to even play well. They want to do that, of course. But their goal is to make the other team play bad.
Right.
And they did that tonight. I mean, outside of the start of the first half, where Oklahoma jumped out 7-0, and really the start of the second half, where Oklahoma used an 11-1 run.
And that was more about KU's offense.
For sure.
I mean, it took them like 5 minutes to score 8 points.
8 point, yeah. And that I think that was so. I asked Self too, which was more frustrating, the start of the game or the start of the second half? And he said, you know, the start of the second half was more frustrating because here we played so well to finish the first half and had that 15-point lead, and then we come out with no energy. Devon Dotson said it after the game too. He said, you know, a 6-0 run there out of the gate, and we put that team away.
Yeah.
Instead, they cut it to 5, and then you have to grind the rest of the way and maybe make it a little harder than it had to be. So, lessons to be learned in there. There's some good that comes from that, and of course the only thing that matters is the victory. But it certainly was not their best game. It certainly was not a game where they're going to watch film of this and go, oh, that's how you do it. I mean, they shot, what they shoot, 4 of 21 from three-point range. LaGerald Vick hit 2. Nobody else can make one, again. Quentin Grimes had one of his best games in a while, continuing to progress, especially as an attacking offensive player. But he was 1 of 6 from three-point range. So I don't really think there was anybody, even Dedric Lawson, who had another double-double and really carried him in the second half at times. He had some stretches where he was pretty terrible too.
He missed his first 7 shots. I think Self said afterward, just not effective offensively, or not as effective as he's capable of being. So I don't know. I think there's also kind of a good sign that no one on KU played particularly well.
Right.
But they won against the top 25 team. Like, how many times do you write a game story and be like, well, this was the Dedric Lawson game, or this was the Udoka game, or this is the game that Devon Dotson took over? None of those guys. There was no one individual, but they all collectively did enough to get by, and I mean, you just have to do that sometimes.
What do you make of, I guess, the biggest thing they take away from this? Maybe looking at it from the idea of where do they need to improve most?
Well, I mean, I think the shooting has been an issue for this team all year. I mean, the three-point shooting in particular.
Sure.
I mean, you mentioned earlier, LaGerald Vick hit 2. Nobody else can hit 3-pointers.
Right, and he was 2 of 7 at that. It wasn't like he
wasn't great by any means. But I don't. You can tell by the way that he kind of attacks offensively that he doesn't care like what the shot is.
Yeah.
He just feels like, all right, this team needs a three-point shooter, and that guy is me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna take a contested three-pointer. Sometimes his
they
foot's
go
on the line.
straight in. Yeah, that one was on the line, no doubt about it. But yeah, they shoot 41% from the field and 19% from three-point range, 63% from the free throw line. But guess what? Oklahoma shot a little worse from all of those spots, and Oklahoma was out-rebounded by just a couple. In a game like this, in the Big 12, that's sometimes going to do it. Going to be enough.
Yeah, I think it's a good first step for this team,
Yeah.
given all the newness to it, all the guys that are new to the Big 12, the freshmen and the transfers. And I don't know if this type of effort is going to cut it against a Texas Tech,
Right.
but they didn't play Texas Tech
Right.
tonight, so they didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Another new will come on Saturday when they got to go on the road. Take this show on the road for the first time and see how they hold up in one of the toughest places to play in college basketball, not just in the Big 12. At Iowa State Saturday, we'll be there, and we'll have a couple of days worth of coverage leading up to that game as well, looking a little bit more at this one and some of those things we talked about tonight. So either way, Kansas is in first place in the Big 12. It's a familiar ring. It sounds familiar. For Benton Smith, I'm Matt Tate. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra, and we'll talk to you guys again real soon on another episode.